Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is January the 16th, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Friday to ya. Hopefully this episode finds you in a good place, in a good space. Hopefully things feel very Friday for you. You're probably not listening to this on a Friday because I'm recording a little bit later, but hopefully whenever you are listening to this, things feel like it's a Friday for you. Hopefully that's a good day. I don't know. Usually my Fridays are good vibes. That's what I always want to put out into the world. That's what I want to manifest. Anyway, we had a good day. It was definitely, yesterday was fine, but don't get me wrong, just having that physical, just kind of like, oh, I'm exhausted, I'm so tired moment was not fun. So today was just more even keeled. That felt good. And I would say we closed out a normal weekend in the new department, or a normal week in a new department, the new old department. It's complicated, it's weird, but this is my life now. We had an interesting little tweak of the day. So I come in, and there was like actually a decent amount of work. And I was like actually pretty excited to like see about like 10 buggies. I'm like, okay, looks like I know where I'll be today. And then I get the call on the walkie-talkie, and it's my lead telling me, hey, so, this person called off and we're going to need you to run cardboard. And I was like, okay, all right. And honestly, I really wasn't even mad. To some extent, I expect that every time. I know that I am not the trash guy really anymore. I might be the most experienced guy to be on the trash right now in the department or whatever, or in the warehouse. Who gives a shit? Doesn't matter. It's not mine. It's not my gig really anymore. I just want to do it, and that's it. So, I say, okay, I resign myself, but I'm hoping like, okay, I should be able to make it back here. And we're on the same wave of like, hey, you can do both. And I'm like, awesome, cool. That's good. No static, no problem. So, I continue to work some buggies, like pop upstairs. And, I'm, setting up, kind of assessing what it's going to look like for the day. Because I've also realized too, I think I mentioned this last week, but we're on a block schedule in this warehouse. So like Monday to Wednesday, there's more people working like all the departments, especially like, for cardboard stuff and all that, kind of helping keeping everything clear and clean. Nice. We generally have less on Thursday and Friday though. And it's like, okay, well, that's fine. That's usually slower days for us. That makes sense. But when you have like less people, and then also people wanting to call off because it's the weekend, they got stuff to do, want to do, whatever, well, then all right, that means you're really on like a skeleton crew, especially on like a Friday, which once again, in this time of the year, that is okay, hunky dory. Go on, have your good time. We're gonna have people to fill your spots. It just turns out that I'm that guy now. So, I'm hopping along. I'm getting everything, sorted. And I walk over to like one part of the floor, and my lead and my supervisor are there. And they go, oh, what a coincidence. We were just talking about you. And I'm like, oh, great. Awesome. Love that. And, they're talking. I come over, and they're talking about the walkie-talkie. And I think I mentioned this in a previous episode, how I was like, I got jammed up because I didn't answer my walkie. That's like, that happened 2 times or so. Well, apparently that's a problem. They didn't like that. And I'm thinking, oh my God, are you guys really about to like, get on me about this right now? I'm literally working. I'm literally doing everything. I have the walkie on me. And my supervisor, he points at it. He goes, yeah, that walkie's really messed up. Look at it. And I'm like, he's like, was this the only one? I'm like, I don't know, man. It was the one that worked. And it literally has no antenna. It has like a coil on it, and that's like the only thing it has for it works fine. There's no problem with it. And I'll be honest with you, a little bit of inside baseball. I picked that walkie-talkie because it doesn't have a barcode, so I don't have to scan it, because I'm trying to break a little bit of rules here between you and me, dear listener, okay? Shh, can you keep a secret? Because I already got jammed up for that too. It's like, hey, you didn't scan this out properly, so don't do that again. Because it's like, once again, I gotta watch my back. I can get it right up for any dumb little thing. So, hey, oopsie daisy, doesn't have a barcode, my bad, but like, it works fine. There's no problem. Sometimes I just can't get to the walkie the second they want, and they get a little upset. Or sometimes I didn't hear it, and they get a little upset. Anyway, I'm thinking they're really upset about this walkie-talkie shit, and that's why we're having this conversation. So I'm already uncomfortable. I'm like, so much for a good day, but I'm like, it's okay. Let's just, motor through. It's fine. Let's just, keep working. So that's what I do. And he mentions, hey, I'm going to get you a new walkie-talkie, which I thought was the stupidest fucking thing. Because I'm literally thinking to myself, dude, I went down there. There's not going to be any walkies for me. Like, by the time you go and check it out, there's not going to be a better walkie than what I already have. Like, this sounds so silly. Like, I'm like, whatever, dude. Like, so I go about my work, And we'll fast forward to the good part here, because I know I'm kind of doing a lot of setup. I'm by my supervisor's desk because there's a door there that I have to like load stuff on. Love that for me. And he calls me over and he goes, "Hey, I have your walkie. I have your new walkie-talkie." And he like put the emphasis on your, and I'm like, "What do you mean your? Like mine?" And I realize, as he's like putting my name on it, like he's like putting it on there, like a little tape thing. And I'm like, and I'm understanding that they were having their own inside baseball conversation of, I want Isaiah to have a good walkie. I don't want him to have no bullshit. I want him to have, like, because essentially there's this whole little thing of like, there's the walkies in the bullpen that everyone has access to. But for my supervisor, he wants everyone to have good walkies so he can always call them on the beck and call and they can answer. He doesn't want to have no problems, no excuses. So he's like, I have my own little area right here in this shelf, and you put your walkie here at the end of the day. And you can even take it home, but just make sure you have it charged. Make sure you bring it. And I'm like, yeah, man, totally awesome. And I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm not going to lie. There was a certain kind of like, this is the real welcome to the team moment. Like, and I hate it because I hate walkie-talkies. In this warehouse, it's a leash. It is just something that they can yank on you so they know where you are any and all times. And it's like, this dude expects it to be on the second I'm clocked in. So I don't like that. But there was something about this where it's like, oh, you're a part of the group now. You're a part of the team. Like, so you have this, like, take care of it, And I'm like, okie dokie, totally. Got my name all on it. This is mine. Putting it in the shelf later at the end of the day. You got it, boss. So that's where we're at with it, right? That is the state of affairs. Overall, the day was solid. It was good. Nice way to close out the week. So yeah, no, that was good. That was a good W work day, actually. But yeah, let's see. Post work, we went to the gym. Gym was still 2 pips, still technically busy, but you could just tell by the parking lot there was so just much less people, and I'll take that. So good. Hopefully we're getting back to a more of a normal rhythm, and we just have busy Tuesday, Wednesday, and we'll see. Knock on some wood for that. You know what I mean? But I got in and I got on my Smith machine, got my heavy lifts in. That felt good. Felt solid there. And then went into free weights. Went in free weights heavy, and felt good. And on the, felt good there. Felt good on that front. And let's see, did the, what was it called? The core work, felt good there. Hit that 50 set again for the crunches, and didn't have the belly cramp. So pog. I gotta stop using Twitch terms. Let's see. And then filler work, we got that all done, got that all in. And cardio was good. I really am reserved to just not going as balls to the wall. I feel really nice about that, actually, because generally I know I'm still in the same weight range. I haven't spiked crazy or anything weird like that. And maybe I'll feel different if I can go a few more weeks and not really have any ankle problems, but I mean, even as I'm talking, I can still kind of feel the twinge, you know what I mean? So I think it's just one of those things where I know I don't need to keep overworking this, and that's kind of what it's starting to feel like, because doing this shit for what, over a year now, like I think it's okay for my cardio to just be walking, is what I'm saying. I guess that's what I'm getting at. Anyway, so yeah, overall good workout, good work day. Let's see. Came home and did things a little bit different at the house. Once I got in the house, I should say. I did my stretches, and then I was feeling really like cold and stinky, and I was just like, I'm going to take a shower now. And I don't know, maybe I'm being a little too behind the curtain. Maybe this is TMI, but I don't know. I wait until the end of the day to shower. So yes, if you've been wondering, my dear listeners, yes, I be stankin'. I do be stankin' while I be yapping. I know. These are things I do. I put it off. I put off my dinner. I put off my shower. So I can yap. I gotta get this shit out into the airwaves, okay? But yeah, we switched up the order for the night. I'm just doing laundry in the morning, so it's no biggie. And like I said, I just was like exceptionally stank. So I was like, yeah, I want to shower before I even get my snack in. So we did that, and then did some research, and yeah, that's where we are. That's been the day. That has been the Friday. But yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup, and let's get into some news. Okie dokie. Artichokes. Oh, I have also gotten back into my little audiobook, my little Black Company medieval fantasy series. So that's good. It's been a lot better. I feel like it's moved out. I think I'm on book 8, I think. I don't know. I don't even know how many more there are. Ooh, but, it's been kind of nice just getting back into audio stuff like that, or at least, listening to a book. I know it sounds weird to say, but, whatever. I literally said that one time, and someone roast me, like they're like making fun of me or whatever. And I don't know why I got so upset, but I just like laid into them to the point where we stopped being friends for like a month or two. I was like, bro, what the fuck is your problem, bro? I'm just trying to enjoy my shit, and you're trying to be fucking funny like that? Nuh-uh, not at my expense. Anyway, let's talk about some news. Not my fucking grievances. From CBS News. Canada agrees to cut tariff on Chinese electric vehicles and break with the U.S. Breaking with the United States, Canada has agreed to cut its 100% tariff on Chinese electric cars in return for lower tariffs on Canadian farm products, Prime Minister Mark Carney said Friday. Carney made the announcement after 2 days of meetings with Chinese leaders. He said there would be an initial annual cap of 49,000 vehicles on Chinese EV exports to Canada, growing to about 70,000 over 5 years. China will reduce its total tariff on canola seeds, a major Canadian export, from 84% to about 15%, he told reporters. That's so drastic. Carney said, I mean, and this is both ways. I kind of want to make a bit of an aside here. I remember when EVs first became a fucking thing and they were like hitting the scene, I would like get random glimmers of like, foreign EVs, like, Chinese ones. And I was just like, why are there seems to be a varying variety of them. They seem a lot cheaper. What's the deal? Why are they not here? And that was where I was like, me first kind of seeing like, oh, that's how tariffs work. Like, we don't want them to be here, so they're not here. They're not in Europe. They're not in Canada. And it's like you're literally pricing them out. But this is something that would be good for like people to have. Like, if you had the ability to do this, like, why not? And you could come up with other economic reasons and blah, 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 on why it makes it more expensive. But still, that always like tripped me the fuck out. And I just remember being like, yeah, that's such a turnoff for EVs right then and there. Because I mean, hell, I could drive a Prius. I don't really give a shit. I'm not the type. But like the fact that you either buy a Tesla or you just don't really have one, especially I feel like some years back. So I don't know. It's interesting to see this deal happening. Obviously, it's very interesting to see this deal happening from both sides, given the climate that we're in, because how the Trump administration, how America, the good old US of A, has been moving, how we've been pushing tariffs in the world, as our like kind of, divining governing rod. Carney said China has become a more predictable partner to deal with than the U.S., the country's neighbor and longtime ally. Our relationship has progressed in recent months with China. It is more predictable, and you see results coming from that, Carney said. Also, I just want to talk about this, the handshake yet again. I talked about how Xi mogged Trump. I think it's no different here. I think he once again is owning. You're looking at the angles. I don't know. It just is what it is. But yeah, I mean, this is more about that soft power shit that I kind of keep bringing up. It just feels so apparent that this is not gonna work for us. Like in terms of the U.S. strategy of saying, hey, you're gonna deal with us. You're gonna build here. We're gonna like fucking make America great again. You're gonna fucking be with this project or you're gonna get fucked. And it's like, dude, people will just get fucked and they'll go to another country that can provide for them. They'll make other alliances and fucking shit. And when you have a player like China that proved last year that if you go toe to toe with them, it's not going to go as well as you hope. So then like, what's with all this big talk then? Yeah, we'll just deal with them. We don't have to deal with you. So I don't know how this is going to work. I mean, there's definitely a part of me that says, okay, and this is one, speculation add on, that the Trump administration is going to then play harder ball with Canada to try to get them back in, or anyone who really tries to deal with China too much. But also at the same time, I don't see how we put the fucking genie back in the bottle in terms of the tariff stuff. I mean, we saw with the Biden administration, they didn't. I don't think even in the best case scenario, sorry if you heard that thud from my neighbors, I don't think in the best case scenario, like, we get a liberal shift, whatever. I don't think we're going to come off the sauce. I think we're going to be too addicted to any of the money gained, even though we as consumers aren't seeing it. We're going to have to deal with the consequences of it. But the cream off the top, the Trump administration in America is raking that in. It's going somewhere. I don't know, to some fucking ICE cop or whatever the fuck. I don't know, but we're getting something out of it, and that you aren't going to turn that spigot off just because you're liberal. Sadly, you're just not. That's just not how this works, sadly. So yeah, I mean, that remains to be seen. I do think we're going to keep seeing, though, China making a deal. China doing another handshake. I just think we're going to see more and more of that. But hey, I don't know. Could be wrong. I could be wrong. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. I feel like I summarized it enough. Speaking of Trump, from Bloomberg, Trump pardons convicted fraudster after earlier clemency grant. A San Diego businesswoman who was granted clemency by Donald Trump in 2021 and later convicted on new fraud charges received a pardon from the president on Thursday, according to a White House official who spoke on the condition of anonymity. The pardon involves Adriana Camberos, 55, convicted by jurors in 2024 of making tens of millions of dollars by selling wholesale groceries after lying to manufacturers about where the products would be sold, according to the Justice Department. Camberos was released from the Bureau of Prisons custody on Thursday, according to an agency website. But yeah, apparently he was on a roll this week. I didn't hear about any of these until today, but up to 21 people were released. Wanda Vasquez was a big name. I'm pulling this from a little bit of an AI overview. But the former governor of Puerto Rico, who pleaded guilty to a campaign finance violation, received a pardon, with the White House citing political motivation in her case. I love that, dude. I love that you probably just have to do some kind of indirect, direct bribe to Donald Trump, and then he activates and he gives you a pardon, and you just got to say, "Oh man, I was just a persecuted, political prisoner, quite literally, just like Donald Trump." Okay. And I'm so glad that he freed me. My family is so happy. We're so happy. Thank you. These chains are unshackled for me. And it's like, dude, you did crime. You did full ass fucking crime and you were caught. Dead to fucking rights. You went to jail and now you were out because, like I said, the wheels moved. Justice was served. Anyway, I guess it's just relative criminals and schemers, fraudsters, scammers in this milieu. But yeah, dude, he just, I guess, goes through a wave. I don't know. Maybe this is a promises made, promises kept thing, right? And you just got to deliver on these things one way or another. Like I said, if people made a donation, then you got to deliver, hopefully, right? And you have the power to do that. You literally have a pardon czar, so that you just make this shit happen faster. But yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like it's time to get your fucking poly market bets out on who's gonna get pardoned next. I don't know. Maybe that's time to hit a lick, dude. And that's another thing. I'm making a segue into another segue, but I am waiting. And if you have a story, I will even go back and talk about it. But I would love to cover a story on either Kalshi or Polymarket. That shit is so fascinating to me that we are at this point. And that's going to kind of get to main point of this article we're about to talk about. I'm teasing a little bit. But man, it's crazy that you can bet on anything. It's crazy you can bet on everything anywhere you want. But yeah, let me take a water break. And I got a story from CBS News because we're about to gamba. But really, this is about sports. So, let's get our sports jerseys on. Let's get ready to do some sports ball, some basketball in this situation. I'm talking basketball. Sorry. Man, I really wish I liked sports. It's fine. Actually, I was walking and I watched a bit of a basketball game, a little bit of college sports. Yeah, call it research. I don't know, whatever. It's fine. I do like some UFC. I like a little MMA. Anyway, sorry. I'm way off beat here. Let's get on track. 26 charged in college basketball point shaving scheme that allegedly bribed players to rig games. We're so back. 2026 and we're still gambling. Excuse me, on sportsbet.com. DraftKings, not sponsored. Federal prosecutors charged 26 people in an alleged point-shaving scheme involving dozens of college basketball players, authorities announced Thursday. U.S. Attorney David Metcalf, I can never pronounce this dude's last name, I don't know, Metcalf, whatever, said the scheme involved 39 players and 17 different NCAA Division I men's basketball teams, and alleged the conspiracy either fixed or attempted to fix 29 games. This was a massive scheme, Metcalf told reporters during a news conference in Philadelphia. It enveloped the world of college basketball. According to the indictment unsealed Thursday, players were allegedly bribed to tank games to enrich sports gamblers. This was a significant and rampant corruption of college athletics, Metcalf said. Some alleged attempts to fix games were unsuccessful for various reasons, including players who couldn't cooperate with the scheme or others who failed to make the games go a certain way, Metcalf said. In basketball, one player could substantially influence a game in ways that in other sports you cannot, but it's not a guarantee, Metcalf said. But by and large, the scheme was very successful. I've always heard the term points shaving. I've always heard that term, but it's always been such a fringe thing. And I was just, at least once again, to me in my circles, that I'm I don't really I'm not committing the brain power to what is. And it's oh, you literally are just not performing as hard. You're underperforming. And essentially, that's going to change the whole outcome of the fucking game, obviously. But even more so when you have the situations where you can make these crazy pinpoint bets on how a person's going to perform, when they're going to perform in the game. And so saying, hey, yeah, actually, you're going to miss some free throws. You're going to fucking just, you could score 30. You're going to score under half of that. How does that sound? And I'm going to pay you a lot of money, but we'll get to that. The allegations cover a period between September of 2022 and February of 2025. It's also worth mentioning that this is during the whole era of the name and likeness thing, or the NIL policy. So essentially, yes, you can be a college basketball player and get paid, but you're only going to get paid so much. And that's if you are a big name. The indictment also includes allegations of influencing or fixing Chinese Basketball Association men's basketball games. So China is getting a double mention. I told you, it's a very Chinese year. Some of the people allegedly involved in the scheme were former college players who are accused of bribing current college players to shave points on games so bettors could capitalize. And that's something that I never really thought about until I was listening to this. And essentially, it's like, yeah, you get put on the fucking scheme, and then you sit with your players, and this is where it becomes a whole group effort of like, or you maybe don't even need a whole group, but if you get 1-2 more people on side with you to do this, then it can be almost a lock, so win, lose, whatever, you meet the criteria that you have to do so that everybody gets paid. And maybe you split out, maybe you can split out one time and then everybody's kind of in on their take for own individual stuff. Who knows? But like, everyone's kind of getting a little cut of the action. Everyone's kind of fucking happy, whether you're winning or you're losing or whatever, but once again, the whole time, the games are just completely thrown here. There's no quote unquote integrity. I mean, but I could have a whole fucking subplot about how I feel like, well, where is that? And that kind of goes into my whole fucking thing. We're always talking about integrity in sports and all that shit matters. It never fucking matters. Either you're juiced up or you're fucking on the dole. You're fucking on the take, man. I don't want to fucking hear it. This is all for just entertainment. But I don't want to say that. I feel like that's too pessimistic maybe to go that all the way down, right? Gotta believe in something, huh? Anyway, Metcalf said the bribes could range between $10,000 and $30,000 per game. The people behind the alleged scheme are accused of finding games in which a corrupted player was on a team that was favored to lose, and then bribing the player to deliberately underperform during the game and not cover the point spread, Metcalf said. For example, if a team was favored to lose by 4 points, the player would receive a bribe to underperform so that his team would lose by more than that, Metcalf said at a news conference announcing the charges in Philadelphia. Games involving the following teams were allegedly rigged or impacted, investigators say: Abilene Christian, Alabama State, Butler, DePaul, I cannot pronounce this name, Donetsk? I think it's Donetsk. Oh, I'm like trying to cue my fucking college basketball knowledge. East Carolina, Florida, Florida Atlantic, Fordham, Georgetown, Kennesaw State, Kent State, LaSalle, McNessy State, Nichols State, Ohio University, St. Louis University, St. John's, Sunny Buffalo, Tulane, and Western Michigan University. An extensive international criminal conspiracy of NCAA players, alumni, and professional bettors who fixed games across the country and poisoned the American spirit of competition for monetary gain, Metcalf said. I mean, sure, but we're talking about professional bettors here, and it's like, once we're saying these kind of things, we're not saying some shady underworld, because people have been betting on this shit since you could bet on anything, since you could do the game. But the fact of the matter is, once you made it not just legal, but legal to the point of you can do this shit on your phone anywhere. You show up to the game, you don't even give a fuck about the game. You're just vibing with the hot dog in your hand. You got your cell phone in the fucking other so that you can follow your fucking spread. You don't care about this shit. You're just there to gamble. This place is just your horseshoe casino now. Dude, like, this is the devil you're asking for. So you're just catching it more because I think there's just more eyeballs on it. I don't know, man. Like, people are making more money because it's just more accessible and easier to do. You don't have to do it in some shady back street. You don't have to do it off some fucking pen and paper shit. No, you just have to fucking set it all up and then rake the fucking profits. But once again, more people are watching it like it's insurance fraud, and guess what? You're catching more fraud. So, it's poisoned now. No, the game has just been like this, but I think you're making it way worse. But also, I would add, what's the cure? Like, I hear a lot of people say, Oh, let's take away prop bets. One, I kind of go because people are making too much money on prop bets, right? Or maybe not. Maybe in the long run, people are losing a lot, especially if people are fucking fixing the fucking bet. But I just think there's too much money to be gained, so people are not going to want to give this up on both sides of the conversation, from the people who are setting them up, these gambling apps and sites and stuff, and the people who are like, if I can just win these bets, then I'm gonna make it rich, hell yeah. Fuck the scholarship, fuck the 401k, let's fucking bet. So I think it's too fucking creamy to really give it up, but who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I definitely think we should, morally, yes, if we're talking that shit. But I don't know. Full discretion. Even though I've never really gambled, I love watching it. I don't know why. That's my thing. I love watching just gambling. It's fun, but I don't ever want to put my money on the table. No, thank you. Icky. Anyway, let me get back to reading. Sorry. They go through statements of like each of them. Let's see. Tulane said it would cooperate to where appropriate, which I love that. Let's see. Kevin Cross, a former forward for the school, was charged in the indictment. Cross was accused of taking a bribe of approximately $30,000, so he was at the top, to keep Tulane from covering the spread in a 2024 game against East Carolina. Cross was also accused of discussing an attempt to fix a game later that year against Florida Atlantic, but the attempted fix wasn't successful, according to the indictment. Let's see here. Ohio University said that none of its players, coaches, and staff were involved in the alleged scheme. According to the indictment, people involved in the scheme allegedly wanted Sunny Buffalo players to ensure that their team didn't cover the spread for the first half of a game against Ohio in 2024. Let's see here. Brian Brown, a St. John spokesperson, said in a statement provided to CBS News that neither the school or any of its current or former players were cited for any wrongdoing in the indictment unsealed today. Kent State also said it appeared in the indictment because of allegations made against another team. I kind of want to fast forward here a little bit. Let's get to this part. The scheme initially unfolded when former Chicago Bulls player Antonio Blakeney allegedly colluded with professional sports bettors Mars Farley and Shane Hennon to fix Chinese Basketball Association games, Metcalf said. The scheme proved lucrative, Metcalf said. Mr. Hennon, we allege, texted a Confederate that the only things certain in life were death, taxes, and Chinese basketball. I guess that kind of goes hard. I guess if you're in a Chinese state of mind, that fucking rips, dude. That goes crazy on fucking Weibo. I don't know. Let's see. The scheme was then moved to the U.S., where other people were brought into the fold as it focused on recruiting NCAA players. They picked these men because they were well connected in the world of college basketball. They knew the players. Many of them were players themselves. They were alumni. They were trainers. They were recruiters. They were networkers. They were people of influence. And because of that influence, they added gravitas and legitimacy to the scheme. An attorney for Farley, Eric Siegel, told CBS News on Friday they had no comment at this time about the allegations. CBS News asked Hennon for comment, but haven't received a response. That's more or less the story that I wanted to kind of just take a bite out of. Any big updates on this, I would love to come back to it. If we get more stories like this, which I feel like we can kind of guarantee that we're going to get more stories like this. It's just going to be a question of how deep is it going to go? How long has it been going on? And it might not be an NCAA, but like insert sports here. Because at the end of the day, if you can bet on it, guess what? It's going to be a fucking thing. But kind of bringing it back to the very top, what I mentioned, Polymarket, there was a thing where I think there was a guy who had a $400,000, I think, payout from Maduro getting fucking captured, kidnapped, whatever you fucking want to say. They called that shit. But speaking of being inside bet, like, you had to have been like a friend of Delta Force or like someone in the administration. Like, how do you make that bet fucking happen, right? So, I mean, I'm kind of pulling that shit from the ether there. So I don't know if I'm getting that wrong. Don't quote me. But shit like that's crazy. I think also there was another bet on whether or not like Venezuela would be like the government would be toppled or something like that. It was worded in a certain kind of way, but essentially that did happen. But then I think Polymarket of Kalshi or whatever it was like, oh, we're not paying out because that technically didn't happen that way. Like, look at how we worded it. That's not exactly what happened. It wasn't like a regime. They got slick about it. And it's like, so damn, that's just the way it fucking is, ain't it? Anyway. Yeah, that's all legal bets. It's all legal. Maybe not. The bets is not the right word. That's all legal things you can do on Polymarket or Kalshi. Anyway, maybe more to come on that in the future. We have one more story that I wanted to cover, and then I'll let you go. But before I do that, before we get into that, before we go on the run, let's go ahead and take our last break. Oh, man. Whew. I've been trying not to grumble and complain about it too much, but it has been a very cold week. And it's been really annoying when you have a situation where you're in 20 degrees and then you have to go right upstairs to a situation where it is not that and it's like warm, it's hot, it's heated. So that's fun, I guess. It's fun for me. And I'm sure some people, you should be happy to get out of the cold. It's like, no, I got to scramble. And then I got to go technically back downstairs where I want to be. And then go back to being freezing. So I've essentially just resorted to like layering up. Which I would have done anyway. But like I layer up just to take my main layer off for most of the day. So there's that. That's my conundrum. Ooh. Ooh. Sorry. From this is a random news place, but 7 KPLC. Just call me Derek Groves. Iberia Paris escapee appears to taunt authorities while on the run. Authorities in the Iberia Parish are actively searching for a woman, or actively looking for a woman accused of escaping custody while in court. The Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office is looking for 27-year-old Jada Landry. She's described as being about 5'8" and has visible tattoos on her chest and neck. On January 12th, Landry left the courthouse and left the scene in a vehicle. She's fucking got up out of there. IPSO said in a Facebook post, the vehicle has been located, but IPSO and the new Iberia Police Department are continuing to search the area for her. While authorities were searching for Landry, a Facebook account appearing to belong to her taunted authorities, replying directly to IPSO, "They can have the cuffs. They can have the cuffs back, but not me though." Later that day, the account, now named Jadalyn Groves, also posted, "Just call me Derek Groves," referencing Orleans Parish Jail's escapee, who was on the run for 5 months. That was something we covered last year. It took me a second for that to sink in, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. That's clever. Because I was like, that's got to be a local reference. Oh, yeah, one and the same, dude. Apparently, it's just loose. I don't know, man. Gotta tighten up. Let's see. They do go into a little bit of it here. Landry has a lengthy history of violent crime. Court records show Landry has been accused of violence 5 times, and each time has taken a plea deal. So yeah, they definitely said, hey, you should call dispatch. You should call Crime Stoppers. Do not confront her. He said, do not take her on, bro. Because she will fight you. So, I mean, hey, I love that for her. She said, no, I'm on the run and I mean that shit. It's crazy though to Instagram your crimes, so to speak, or meta your crimes, so to speak. Don't do that. You should, if you're gonna be on the low, be on the low. You've already made your fucking great escape, man. Don't fucking tweet about it. No, dude, they be geolocating that shit. I don't know, but not that I'm rooting for her. But, you know, I literally, like, I kind of dug the story. Like, it was one of those, I don't mean enjoyed it, but I mean, like, it was not a story that was very popular. I just was like, oh, we have an escapee story in 2026. Like, yeah, let's talk about it. I don't want to talk about recalled cheese or something today. I want to talk about this. Sorry. But yeah, that's it. That's all I have. I'll keep you posted if they wind up finding her. I imagine she's going to keep posting. She's going to post through it. But yeah, that's all I got. I guess I could add a bit of bonus news. We started with tariffs. I maybe should have mentioned it there, but we can end with tariffs. On the U.S. end, I think we made a deal with Taiwan that obviously China did not like. I believe we made some kind of cut for them on like chip tariffs or something like that, but they gotta like work with us more so. And it's like, you know, it's like, okay, cool, we get it. Yeah, you got them in pocket, we get it. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's on the balance. But yeah, that's it. That's all I have. That's all I got. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any other socials. It's actually way easier to hit me up there. I don't think anyone's ever emailed me, though that would be very cute. It's just easier to hit me up on socials. I pretty much respond to that immediately. If you're interested. Not that that's a big deal. Don't make it weird. But yeah, let's see. Follow me on... Where should I start? Oh no, we're blanking out. Follow me on Spotify, or follow me on YouTube. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Spotify. Follow me on Apple Podcasts. Oh no, we're so back. Leave a like. Leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. Let's see here. How do you say 5 stars on Spotify? 5 stars on Apple Podcasts are always appreciated. But if you didn't follow any of that gobbly blah blah that I just said, any of that nonsense, don't worry about it. Hopefully you can tune into the next episode, however you got to this episode. And that would be dope. That would be really cool. Because really, I just like yapping. I just like yapping to the ether, to the universe. And I'm thankful that I at least have like a handful of people that are just like, yeah, I'm curious to see what happens to this guy tomorrow. I wonder if he makes it. I wonder if he gets fired. Hopefully you're rooting for me. I think everyone's rooting for me. I know there's a couple of dislikers out there, some thumbs downers. That's them though. I guess you gotta have balance, right? You gotta have some lovers. You gotta have some haters in life. As a hater and a lover, I completely get it. I completely understand. You are seen. You are valid. I thumbs you up. Wait, I thumb. Yeah. Let's say it that way. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.